Play today. You've got a really nice grasp on this. You've got a nice tone. And for a piece that is no louder than pianissimo, you made some nice contrasts with this. So let's talk about a few things. What is the title of this movement?
Tango Andante.
Tango. Do you know what a tango is?
Kind of.
Kind of. What do you know about a tango?
Actually not much. I don't know.
Have you ever heard the name Astor Piazzolla?
No.
You've never heard. You need to immediately after today, once we leave here, go to the library, go to YouTube, go anywhere on the internet and search Astor Piazzolla, because he is really the guy who started the tango. And he played the bandoneon, which is an accordion type instrument, and this was very prominent in South America. And it was music that you would dance to, right? Have you ever seen people do a tango with like the rose in their mouth and the whole bit? Right. So what I'm going to have you do, without saying anything else, I just want you to picture this in your mind. Think about what is it about a tango? There's something sexy almost about a tango. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's part of what this dance is. This is a very sexual sort of dance. So I want you to start it again, and I want you to have this idea in your mind, and I want you to start trying to play from the beginning like somebody was going to be dancing to what you're playing. Now, I know that this is a solo piece, and there's not a lot going on here. But just with that idea in your mind, start again. Okay, stop right there. Do you feel any different about how you played it that time versus the first time?
Not really.
Not really. All right, well, let me grab my instrument right here. So the thing about a tango, if you've ever played any tangos, which I'm assuming that you haven't since you haven't heard of a tango, but I want you to go listen to some music about this, because I think once you get an idea of how a tango goes, it'll really change the way that you think about this movement. There is a lot of syncopated gestures in this, right? One, dee, 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 right? So if you'll accent the things that are not on a downbeat, that'll really help bring out the dance-like qualities of this. Do you hear a difference in that? So really what I want you to try to do is bring out these notes right here in particular. Dee, 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 dee. Just play that first measure. Right, and I think, this is marked 3Ps, but this is a solo piece, so I want you to play with a solid round tone rather than play too soft for the reed to vibrate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Try one more time, just maybe a little bit louder. Yeah, do you hear a difference in just the character of this? This is what we're trying to capture with this sort of thing. You can think of it almost as a character study. We want people to dance to it. So we have just the structure of the piece, and it's very clear to see here. We've got 2 measures, and then we've got 4 measures. Okay, so just looking at the first 2 measures here, can you identify, even if it's arbitrary, a goal? What would be like the single goal note in the first 2 measures there?
Would it be the F sharp?
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. This is what interpreting music is about. This is something that you have to decide for yourself. So what I want you to do is, if we're going to call it the F sharp, which is totally fine, I want you to think about playing to this F sharp, crescendo to it. Dee, 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 and then crescendo, then decrescendo away from it. Does that make sense? Dee, 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 dee. Just play those 2 measures for me, please. Did you hear a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what did you think about it?
You can definitely tell there's more of a shape to it.
Right. So if we're looking at the next phrase right here, which is 4 measures, right? Mm-hmm. Can you identify a goal within these 4 measures?
This vicinity.
This vicinity, we'll pick just one note.
Okay.
Why don't we try for a downbeat instead of the The smallest component. Let's pick the downbeat there. So let's play it to the downbeat. If this is pianissimo, pianissimissimo, then this is going to be a little bit louder. So let's think of, and I don't have a pencil here. Do you have a pencil?
I have a pen.
Thank you.
I'm not prepared.
Let's think of shaping the line like this.
No.
So that we're going to piano, and then we'll start at piano, and really like that. Okay?
Want me to start the third measure?
Now I want you to start at the beginning, please, one more time. And I'll help you along here, okay? Now I thought the rhythm was better. I thought there was some character there. Did you hear a difference? It was a little bit louder. I think maybe it was a little bit too loud that you would want for this. Don't go all the way to mezzo forte. Just make something out of it. That's what's really difficult, but it's what's important to do as an interpreter of music. Is that music, people dance to it, especially a tango. You want people to dance to this, right? You want to be able to dance to it yourself. So I want you to really think about moving your body even through this sort of thing. Just try one more time, just right here in this 4-measure phrase. Yeah, why don't we go on? And keep thinking about this thought in your mind. That we've got another 2-measure phrase, right? So we think the same thing. Where would be the goal of this? What's the difference between these 2 measures and the first 2 measures?
Not much.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
Nothing. It's the exact same thing. So we want to play it, like we did at the beginning. We will come back down to pianissimo.
Come up again?
No, start right here. This is fine.
I'm sorry, did you say here?
Right here.
Okay.
Thank you. Keep going. Right. That was so much better. I really like, how you're starting to get some character in this. Think about bringing out some of these notes just a little bit more. Are you using, what fingering are you using for this? The D sharp.
E flat?
You're using the long fingering?
Yeah.
You might try, because of the range of this, so you're not going over the break, you might try playing just with LSK3. Do you know this fingering?
No.
Okay. Well, if you'll play just this key right here.
Just this key?
Mm-hmm.
And the octave key?
No octave key.
Okay.
Just that note by itself. Just play that. It's a D sharp. Yeah, it feels a little bit weird, but once you get the hang of it, then this note won't pop out of the texture. Do you hear how that note just wants to jump out?
Yeah.
And playing with that fingering will just help keep it a little bit softer. Alright? One more time. Right, but we have to move all of our fingers so that we can get back to that G. And I know that it's a little weird. It takes some getting used to if you haven't done it before. But this is just something that you should know about that will really help. And besides, since the F sharp is the first long fingering that you're doing, since you're only playing in this lower register now without playing that long fingering, then the F sharp is going to want to pop out of the texture, which in this case is desirable. We want that note to come out.
Okay.
Do you hear a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, try it with that. See if you can play that. Right, and this is something that you can practice. But I'll just pencil this into your part, and you can. I'm going to write just like that. LSK3, which is just this one. Are you familiar with this designation? Okay. Yeah. So just this note, and that's how I would play that. All right. Why don't we keep going? Why don't we? Let's start right here, and let's just keep going through this piece a little bit. Let me hear you do that. Let me stop right there. What's this rhythm right here?
Yeah, but
Right. There were a couple of times the first time you played, but I think you
Yeah.
were just nervous. Right, so this is an eighth note. Dee 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 dee. Right, so really hang on to the note, because if it's longer in this stream of the 16th notes, then that note's just a little bit more important.
okay.
Okay? Try right there one more time. Right, so the other thing that I want to talk to you about in the time that we have left is there are a couple of ways that you can approach this and practice this at home, but I want you to pay particular attention and think about the connection between notes. When you move from one note to the next, does it sound note, note, or is there some sort of, something that's happening between it? For example, do you hear how the something happens before the register changes?
Yeah.
So this is what I want you to practice as you work on this piece, because I think that it's really important that all of the notes sound, and this is just something that we will continue to struggle with as part of playing the saxophone. So the way that you can do this is just take two notes and just isolate those two. So I want you to just do this F sharp and this G here, and I know that it's almost an octave. But just play those two notes, just one to the other slurred, and see if you can really concentrate on getting a consistent tone between both notes. That's better? That's getting better, yeah? Do you hear how there's like a little hee,
Yeah.
right? And this is what we want to get rid of. Try one more time. And now play G up to the F sharp, go the opposite way. That was better. Do you ever record yourself when you practice?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
Do you have a recorder?
I could use my computer. Yeah.
Yeah, you could use your computer, or you can even use your phone. I think really the best way to record yourself, and anybody when you practice, is you use the cheapest recorder possible. I would use my iPhone or just anything that's on my phone, something that's not going to give you any help, something that you're going to sound awful on. I mean, legitimately, because if you can sound really good on a recording of yourself on a cheap recorder, you're going to sound great in a hall, right? So this is the thing. If you don't record yourself, you have no discernible way when you walk into a practice room to determine that you made any progress by the time that you leave. You have no way to self-evaluate, because what it sounds like on the other side of the horn versus the back side of the horn is completely different. What we hear performing is completely different what the audience hears. So this is a way for you to put your ears out of being in the process of making music to just evaluate what you're doing. So I would really encourage you to start recording yourself as you practice, because it's really valuable. One time I had a lesson. Do you know the name Deborah Rickmeyer?
No.
I had a lesson with her a number of years ago, and we talked about recording, and she told me, well, if you're not going to record yourself, you might as well just pack it up and go home. But she was a little sassy with me, but it makes sense. If you don't record yourself, you've really just got no way to determine that. So that's what I would encourage you to do, especially with something like this. That way you can really pick that out and you can hear that.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have any questions about this movement?
I guess just on the accents. Are those typically just on the higher notes or on the
Well,
eighth notes?
So the thing that's interesting about this piece is that he doesn't write any accents. So this is up for you. This is why I think that making a study of a tango, knowing what a tango is and how a tango sounds, I think this will help you make that decision as an interpreter of where you want to put that. It's completely arbitrary. It's like we were talking about a goal note just a moment ago. It's arbitrary. And this is what recording yourself will really help you make those decisions for yourself, because you can play one way and play another way and then play a third way and listen back and really make a decision of what you like the best. Because this is up to you. This is what we get to do as an interpreter. So let's pick, just in the few minutes we have left, let's pick another thing. another section here. Why don't we start here? This is a really good phrase. After